Grace, and happy Friday. How are you all doing? I'm exhausted. I'm not even gonna pretend that I'm not tired because I'm so tired. But I'm up early and this is the best time for me to get this filmed. So let's just go. Today I am doing a tag on here, which I haven't done one since I did the Getting to Know Me Rapid Bookfire tag. So this should be pretty fun. This is called the Autumn tag. I was actually tagged on my blog for this by Katia Labonte over at Little Blossoms for Jesus. She is one of my online reading/writing buddies, so that's really fun. And I have her blog link in the description if you want to see her tag that she did. I reviewed one of her books during our Christmas bookathon last year. Yeah, I'm tired, so I don't remember the name or anything, but the link is up here. And it was a really good book, so I recommend checking it out. And I also did this on my blog as well in written form, so if you do want to check that out, my link is also in the description as well. There's 10 questions. First one, theme is hot chocolate. And the question is, what is your favorite comfort book? Oh yeah, this tag isn't necessarily all bookish. There are some just random, like, day-to-day life questions. But for the most part, there are some bookish questions. So, favorite comfort book. I actually, when I read that, I'm like, oh wow, that's a lot of books. And like, I had to think about all of them. The first one that came to mind is one of my favorite classics, Peter Pan. It just, every time I read it, it just gives me like a burst of nostalgia. And it's just really good. You guys should read it if you have not read it. And there's Ichabod Fly and the Great Newspaper Roundup, which is just hilarious. And it was a really good comfort read for me. By Bree Pembroke, which I just reviewed the sequel to that, and I have that link up here. Something Sweet, Someone Sweet by Hannah Foster. That was definitely a very sweet read, very fun and adorable, and I'd consider it a comfort read for me. Sylvia of Amber Apartments by J. Grace Pennington was such a good one. Very good Christmassy read. Nova and the Lost Stars, which was a really perfect bedtime story. It was cozy and snuggly and very cute. The Wind in the Willows. It's been a while since I read this, and I want to reread it, especially in the fall season, because it just feels right, you know? So I'm going to actually be rereading that. But I remember really enjoying that. I only read it once, but it was really good. The Tale of Despero, which I know I probably said that wrong, I apologize. But that was just such a good, very good storytelling. And it was just fun to read. And lastly, The Accidental Cases of Emily Abbott. That whole series is very much a comfort read. Question 2, pumpkin carving. What is your favorite creative outlets? Mine would definitely be writing, embroidery, and coloring. I don't think reading would qualify as a creative outlet, but it certainly is something that does relax me a lot. On to question 3, falling leaves. Which changes appear bad, but secretly you love them? You have the plots for your story you're writing, and everything's going smooth, and then all of a sudden a character will be like, no, we're going to do things my way. And something weird will happen. Like all of a sudden, like a new character will come up, or something will take a not dramatic, but like a twist that you didn't see coming, and it will change everything up, and you're like, what's going on? But I secretly love it because I know it's going to be a better story for it, because it's the character's story. You're just like writing basically what they want. I know that sounds weird. If you don't write, it's kind of sounds weird, but it's great to see them take over and tell their story. And yeah, so I secretly love that. It can be frustrating, especially when you have this whole like outline and you're like, well, that's out. Question 4 is pumpkin spiced latte. What is something that I love that others tend to judge? First thing that came to mind is my playlists. I love to listen to the soundtracks of my childhood favorite cartoons. There's The Swan Princess, Quest for Camelot, Thumbelina. I could honestly listen to those songs on repeat like all day long. And another thing, I'm kind of starting to really like manga. My sister first had me watch some anime stuff with her like a few years back, and then finally it's like, okay, I broke down. I'm like, fine, I'll read the manga. So I read the whole Death Note series, which was only 12 books, and then I finished all of the 24 books of Demon Slayer. It takes some getting used to because you read backwards, kind of. You start at the back of the book and you read I can't even think now. Right to left, I think it is. So it does take some getting used to, but it's not bad. Next question, bonfire. What makes you light up with joy? And I'll read off what I have listed. The first thing that came to mind was free books, which I do love. Free ebook deals. Finishing a book. Okay, I'm gonna be real. Even if I'm not liking a book and I just don't care for it for whatever reason, at the end of it, when I get through it, it still makes me really happy because I finished it. And I just feel like that is a great accomplishment, you know? It makes you feel good. Because there are so many books on my shelf and in my Kindle that I haven't even touched yet. And so finishing one, it's like, yes, you know, so that makes me happy. Stunning covers on books. I absolutely love a beautiful, beautiful cover that is just so like eye-catching, especially when you get to the fairy tale retellings. That a ton of those are just gorgeous, and it's just so pretty. It makes me happy to see them. Game night with my family. I love it. My sister has finally started playing euchre with us. It's a Midwestern card game. I used to play all the time in Ohio. Planning road trips. Not necessarily even going on the road trip, which is awesome, but just planning it. Planning ahead, restaurants, different stops along the way, where we're going to stay, all kinds of stuff. Even just like taking the days off for it and like blocking it out on the calendar. I love that. So I am definitely a vacation planner, which goes into my next one, making lists. I am a list maker. Everything from goals like 20 years down the line of things like I want to have achieved or do, to-do list, grocery list, a list of all the books I have, a list of all the books I have on my Kindle, which is a really hard list to do because it's always growing and there's so many. Yeah, you name it, I probably made a list for it, honestly, which is fun. And then lastly, going to theaters. Not movie theaters, but like on stage, you know, stage theaters, musicals, which I haven't gone since 2019, sadly. And our favorite theater, the Artisan, actually closed down this year, which is really sad. But I just love going to theaters, being immersed in everything, you know, it is so much fun. All right, next question, Fright Night. What is your favorite scary book and or film? So I don't like scary stuff at all. My sister does occasionally have me watch a scary movie with her. However, when it comes to reading, I love a book that kind of creeps me out. That is fun. Not so much like scary, but just creepy. And two books that came to mind that absolutely gave me the creeps was Coraline and The Looky-Loo, which I haven't mentioned that in forever, but I read that last October. It was for a reading challenge. It was in this video up here. And it was about a neighborhood werewolf, and it was creepy. Hi guys, editing this video, and it is coming out a little later. I am sorry for that, still editing, but I totally forgot to include this book here, this Scary Stories for Kids. It was very scary. Don't let the cutesy little cover fool you, you know, it's really kind of disturbing actually. Not gory or anything, but it did give me the creeps. When it comes to movies, again, I don't do scary movies much. But my favorite ones that I can think of, Jurassic Park, A Quiet Place was really good, and Ghost of War. It had a fantastic plot twist, guys, and it was really interesting. I wouldn't mind watching that one again. Number 7, Halloween candy. What's your favorite thing to eat? Okay, Katya and her answer, she said that's a really vague and broad answer, which 100% agree with that, and it is. It depends on time of day we're talking about, what kind of mood I'm in. So just generic, my favorite foods. First and foremost, I love Chick-fil-A. It's up to me to pick if we go out for lunch somewhere. It's gonna be Chick-fil-A. Their spicy deluxe, guys, is so good. Okay. Italian food. I do really enjoy Italian food. Bread in general. Not like sandwich bread, but like garlic bread, croissants, rolls, stuff like that. My favorite candy, hands down, are Reese Cups. Any variety. Not white chocolate. I don't like white chocolate. My favorite fruit are strawberries. All things sweet potatoes, including sweet potato fries with sea salt and caramel. So good. Okay, I want to stop. I could keep going, but I'm going to stop. Okay, number 8, scarves. What is your autumn must-have accessory? This one I had to think about for a bit because here in Texas, autumn, we don't really get that nice fall weather. Now, right now, we do. It's like in the 80s, 70s, which it's been perfect. We've been sitting outside on our porch at night and it's been great. I probably just wear like jeans, maybe a light jacket. I'm not a sweater person. I do have a variety of scarves, but they're not like warm. They're just like with pretty designs and stuff on them. Even when I lived in Ohio, I just wore, you know, warmer clothes. I didn't really have an accessory per se that I like to wear. Number 9, fire. What is a book or film that burns your soul? And like Katya, I was like confused about what that question meant. So she looked up from the original post, which thank you for doing that. It's supposed to mean a good thing, something that you love, like kind of an obsessive love, but it's a good thing. So starting with movie, first one that came to mind was Dead Poet Society. Now mind you, I've only watched that once, twice, and I loved it so much. It's so good. Highly recommend that. I don't remember if there was language in it. Honestly, there might have been a little bit. I don't know. But it had such a good story. Very sad, but it was just awesome. And the next one is The Man Who Invented Christmas. I love that so much. It is, I think, now my favorite Christmas movie. Books, The Chronicles of Prydain. It is such a must-read series. If you like fantasy, epic adventures, heroes, journey, quest stuff, I'm not exactly sure what the trope's called, then you need to read this. It's so good. If you also liked The Black Cauldron, the Disney cartoon, this is that cartoon was based off this 6-book series, and it is so good, guys. One of these days I need to reread it, and I'm going to do a full review of all 6 books in one video. It is a must read. That, and then Treasure Island. I just love reading that book. I've read it so many times, I think like 6 or 7. And lastly, number 10, Toffee Apples. What is a book or film that seems to be one thing, but is actually another? Reread that a couple times to kind of understand. No movies came to mind. However, book-wise, the first one, because I scrolled through my Goodreads list, Small Steps, which is actually the sequel to Holes by... I can't think of his name right now. And I do not recommend this book. I thought it would be a really good, unexpected sequel to come back and revisit some characters, get some new point of views on different characters. But this turned out to be very, very horrible. Tons of mature themes, not kid-friendly, not really middle-grade friendly, and it was really disappointing. The Haunting at Bonaventure Circus by Jamie Jo Wright, which I had such high hopes for this, so I think the disappointment was even 10 times worse because I was very excited for this. And I read this in my reading challenge up in the corner here, and I was expecting some really solid Christian fiction, some spooky old haunted circus things, you know, kind of a good mix. Not as much Christian themes as I was expecting, and it was kind of more like on the spooky side. It just wasn't what I'd hoped it'd be. And then lastly, Oceanarium. What it came off to me sounding as intense, think Jurassic Park, but ocean, you know, and there's like all these prehistoric, you know, creepy sea creatures and monsters. I was hoping for that. There weren't anything. I didn't even finish it, so it wasn't what I thought. And that concludes the autumn tag. If you're watching this video and you enjoyed this and kind of maybe want to do it yourself, consider yourself tagged. Feel free to comment either your blog post where you do it or your video. I would love to stop by and see your answers. That'd be really fun. So I don't have a cover reveal, but I do have an announcement. A new book release, Patriot at the River by Jayna Baas, is now released. It released the 25th. And I am so excited. I did start reading it a couple nights ago. I'm invested. It's good. It is a sequel to Preacher on the Run, Christian historical fiction. It takes place around the Revolutionary War era. So definitely there's a lot of freedom, patriotic zeal, tons of faith aspect. So if you're interested and want to check that out, I have all the links below for Patriot at the River, book links, and I also have the author social. So that will conclude this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Like I said before, consider yourself tagged. If you want to do the autumn tag as well, go for it. Let me know, and I would love to stop by and see your answers. It'd be really fun. Next week will be October 4th, and that is, I can't believe September's over. It was like here and gone. And I will be sharing all of my reads from September along with the cover reveal for Peace Be Still, which I can't wait. And I have another book spotlight to share next week as well. So if you don't want to miss that video, make sure you subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. So that'll do it for today. Thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate you being here. So until next time, happy reading.